Welcome to Shaw Conversations. If we've never met before, I'm Charmaine. Every conversation begins with something I've been noticing. Here's what's been on my mind. I've been noticing something about high functioning women lately. The more capable, responsible, and successful they become, the less often they stop to ask themselves one simple question: how am I actually experiencing the life I've worked so hard to build? That question has been on my mind because I don't think many women are asking it, and it's quietly changing the way they experience everything. You see, we're often told that success changes your life, and in many ways, it does. It changes your opportunities, your income, your responsibilities, and the way other people see you. But there's something success doesn't automatically change. And once I understood this, it completely transformed the way I looked at personal growth. Success changes your circumstances much faster than it changes your inner experience. That's the way I see it. And I want you to really sit with that for a moment because those two things are not the same. You can build a beautiful life while feeling disconnected from your experience of living it. You can be deeply grateful and still feel mentally exhausted. You can love your family and still wonder why your mind never really rests. None of those feelings cancel each other out. They simply tell us that something deeper has been asking for our attention. And here's the part I don't hear many people talk about. I don't think the problem is that you've become too successful. I think something much quieter happens when hyper capability becomes your default state of being. And without even realizing it, we become experts at managing life while becoming absolute strangers to our own inner experience. When your attention is constantly moving outward to solve problems and be reliable, this disconnect shows up in distinct everyday ways. So let's look at one way this shows up. There is a thought that's at the forefront of your mind that is always thinking about the next task. You finish a major project, you close a deal, or check off a massive to do list. But instead of pausing, your brain immediately hooks into the next task. You physically achieve the goal, but emotionally it never lands. So, here is something I feel that can assist you, and you're open to try it. It's a suggestion. I know that it works, but I'm going to leave you as the capable, responsible person that you are to make a choice for yourself. It's called the 60-second completion pause. Before opening the next email or jumping to the next task, close your eyes, take two deep breaths, and mentally declare, this is done, and I am allowed to let it sit before I start the next thing. It breaks the subconscious loop that your worth exists only in constant production. Here's another way you can break yourself out of this constant next thing routine. The alarm goes off, and within 3 seconds, your mind is flooded with schedules, emails, and potential problems you need to solve for other people. You're mentally living 3 hours into the future before your feet even touch the ground. The solution? Simple. Let's take you within. I like to call this the internal greeting. Before you touch your phone or let the day's logistics rush in, ask yourself one question. How am I arriving to my day right now? This small boundary ensures the first person you acknowledge every morning is you, not your responsibilities. Now we look at something else that you can do, right? I think I gave you two so far. Let's look at the third one. Being physically present, mentally absent. This is what's happening sometimes. So you're sitting at the table with your partner, having a beautiful meal, playing with your kids, or out with friends. From the outside, you're right there. But internally, your brain is running a background script, analyzing a work problem, or organizing tomorrow's logistics. Here's a solution, and they work. As simple as it is, they work. It's what I call sensory anchoring. Instead of trying to force your mind to stop thinking, anchor into your physical senses. Focus on the literal taste of the food in front of you, the feeling of the chair beneath you, or the next tone of the voice across from you. It gently pulls you out of mental overload and back into your actual life. I want you to see this differently because this is really important. None of this means you've done anything wrong. It simply means you've been busy living. And this realization changes everything because it completely removes the pressure to fix yourself. You aren't broken, you are just practiced at carrying everything. So instead of asking yourself, what's the next thing I need to accomplish? I invite you to try a different question. Can you do that for me? And ask yourself instead, how am I experiencing the life I've already created? Notice I didn't ask if your life is good or whether you're successful or whether you're grateful. I asked about your experience. And that's a really important thing. How you're experiencing yourself within the life you've already created. Because the way you experience your life deserves your attention just as much as everything else you've spent years building. Sometimes we think that next chapter of our lives requires changing our circumstances. But what if the next chapter actually begins by changing the way we experience the circumstances we are already living? And honestly, I find that possibility incredibly hopeful. It means you don't have to become someone new. You simply begin noticing yourself in a brand new way. So I'm thinking, if today's conversation gave language to something you've been quietly carrying, you don't have to navigate the transition from success driven to authentic living, meaning living from your soul, from your spirits, paying more attention to how your body feels. You don't have to do that alone. So, when you're ready to quiet the mental noise and truly inhabit the life you've built, I'd like to invite you to step into the mental overload reset. It's an intimate experience designed specifically for the high functioning woman who's ready to clear the background script, rest her mind, and discover a truer, clearer way forward. It's simply an invitation for you to step into experiencing yourself in a new way. The link is right below this video. When you're ready, I'll be here. Take really good care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.